On your knees. Wrong building to case today. 3 officers swarm a well-dressed black man in a quiet, marble lobby, hands on holsters. A knee already grinding into his back. Hands where we can see them. He doesn't fight. He breathes. I have identification. A wallet opens. Then a gold shield flashes in the light. Special Agent in Charge Malik Stone. FBI. This is my operation and you're all on my camera. If you want more true justice stories with shocking twists, hit subscribe now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next. Night air clung to Philadelphia like a secret as Malik Stone stepped from an unmarked sedan. Suit crisp, eyes sharper. The apex tower glittered. 12 companies in one glass spine. 3 of them were on his board at the hotel. Kingsley Holdings, Orion Crest Capital, and Aegis Trust. Recon only, he murmured into his mic. Full warrants at 0900. Inside, his gaze mapped angles and blind spots. Counting lenses and exits with a hunter's calm. No badge on display. 15 years in financial crimes had taught him that truth hides behind doors that don't look locked. In a dim security room, Dean Harlan watched the feeds like he owned the city. Harlan had 20 years of intuition, the kind that mistakes confidence for threat when it's dressed in brown skin. He called it in anyway. Male, black, expensive suit, taking notes, casing floors. 3 patrol cars slid up without sirens. Sergeant Ray Dwyer led the way, jaw tight. Decision already made. When the elevator opened on 14, they were waiting. Police. Stop right there. Malik raised his hands. Palms open, voice steady. Evening, officers. Is something wrong? ID. Dwyer snapped. Thumb ghosting the holster. Harlan stepped out, chin high. That's him. Restricted floors, no clearance. Malik weighed options at the speed of a blink. If he flashed the badge now, his months-long case would scatter into smoke. If he didn't, he'd learn exactly how a black professional without a shield gets treated in a building like this. He chose evidence. I'm reaching for my wallet. Slowly, Dwyer took the driver's license, pretended not to see what sat clearly behind it. He read the home address like a dare. And why are you photographing cameras and exits, Mr. Stone? It's called a property assessment. A second officer slipped to block the stairwell. A third riffled Malik's pocket notebook like a trophy. Floor plans. Looks like criminal prep to me. Phones rose in the lobby below as they marched him out under bright lights. Malik set his jaw and made sure every camera got his face. Badge numbers, he said evenly. They were recited with reluctance. Outside, with no audience but the lens, Dwyer let the mask slip just enough. Don't come back here. Is that a lawful order? Malik asked. Or a warning you only give men who look like me? He didn't wait for an answer. In his car, Director Avery Park's name lit the screen. It happened again, he said softly. Documented. Names. Times. Chem angles. Pull the plug on tomorrow. Park asked. No, we go forward. And we go forward twice. At the hotel, maps and photos papered the wall. Shell companies. Fake returns, laundered millions. He added 3 new faces. Dean, Harlan, SKT, Ray Dwyer, and the silent third officer. He called his number 2. Lena, we're expanding. Financial raid as planned. And a parallel civil rights protocol. Body cams on from the door. Morning broke hard and clear. The revolving doors of Apex surrendered to a wedge of Navy windbreakers and gold shields. Malik's credentials gleamed now, not to prove he belonged but to show who. Yesterday, they'd tried to push out. Special Agent in Charge Malik Stone. He told the wide-eyed guard, federal warrants. We'll need MasterCards and full security access. Harlan appeared, face blanching. He started an apology he thought might save him. Malik slid a list across the desk instead. Server room, 15. Kingsley's suite, 14. Aegis Trust Archives, sub-level 2. 7 minutes later, Sergeant Dwyer strode into the lobby and stopped cold. Agents moved with efficient grace, evidence bags, forensics kits. The dull rhythm of doors lawfully opening. Dwyer's eyes found Malik at the center, directing traffic like a conductor. A limo door thumped outside. Martin Kingsley's silver hair, expensive calm, stepped into the lobby and swallowed hard. This is an outrage. "This is a warrant," Malik said, handing him the paper that ended his old life. "Securities fraud, wire fraud, money laundering, and Mr. Harlan, please provide every second of last night's surveillance." "Some cameras malfunctioned," Harlan stammered. "Agent Chen," Malik called, never raising his voice. "Image pull and system control. If anything malfunctions, treat it as evidence destruction." A woman in uniform approached, nerves visible but voice clear. "Agent Stone, I was present last night. I want to make a statement." Her nameplate read Moore. She'd been the only one whose eyes hadn't looked hungry. "Thank you, Officer Moore. We'll take your statement on." Record the news vans bled onto the curb. A lower third banner blinked. "Federal raid at Apex Civil Rights probe parallels fraud case." Somewhere upstairs, a conference room became a command center. Malik faced a table, Kingsley with counsel, Harlan, sweating, Dwyer, jaw ticking, too. Police brass, suddenly cooperative. "Context," Malik began, voice cut from stone. "Over the last 12 months, Mr. Harlan called police 17 times for suspicious persons. 17 people of color, 17 legitimate visitors, 0 crimes." He played a clip of Dwyer ignoring the federal ID in Malik's wallet. "To study the driver's license instead." Pause, silence. The room heard what excuses usually drown out. "My choice not to flash a badge last night was deliberate," Malik said. "To document how access changes when the shield isn't visible. This isn't about me, it's about pattern." Kingsley tried power. "I have friends in Washington." "That statement is being recorded," Malik replied. Obstruction compounds quickly. The dominoes started their ancient dance. Day 1. Forensic accountants followed dirty money through shell companies named like golf courses. The $47 million on Malik's board became $68 million by dinner. Day 3, Harlan went on administrative leave. Building owners posted a new non-discrimination policy so large it could be seen from the sidewalk. Internal footage showed he carded black and brown visitors 8 times more than white ones. Day 5, Internal Affairs opened Dwyer like a file cabinet. Officer Jenna Moore's testimony pulled the first thread. 3 more officers stepped forward. The pattern was no longer a whisper. Day 12, Media found a mirror. Harlan's intuition interview collapsed on air. Dwyer's body cam history did the rest. The police department announced mandatory reforms before the consent decree could force them. Day 21. Past victims of Apex lobby humiliations sat across from Malik and told the kind of stories that break something you thought was safe. "You could have flashed your badge and walked away," one woman said, eyes wet. "You stood where we stand instead." Day 30. To reports landed 1 to financial crimes, 1 to civil rights. They read like a matched set. How bias became a moat and fraud thrived in the quiet behind it. In court, Malik testified with the calm of someone who brought receipts. Wire transfers lit screens, timelines threaded through shell accounts. Kingsley's empire fell apart in pixels and dates. Bail denied. Meanwhile, an internal board recommended Dwyer's termination and referred his case for potential civil rights charges. Harlan's career ended with a settlement and a training requirement he could have taken. Before he hurt anyone, the judge's final order didn't just punish, it rebuilt. Reforms in building security, police training, and oversight rippled. Beyond Apex, bias metrics would be measured and audited. Body cam footage would be proactively reviewed for patterns. Insurance carriers began rewarding companies that proved equity wasn't a slogan, it was a system. 6 months later, Malik spoke to a room of new agents. "Here's the lesson," he told them. "True security is inclusive. Bias doesn't make us safer, it makes us blind. And blind spots are where the worst people do their best work." A hand rose. "Agent Stone, do you ever drive past Apex?" "Sometimes," he admitted. The lobby no longer staged humiliations under bright lights. A quiet plaque mentioned a case that changed how the building worked. It didn't mention names. Malik had declined. He preferred the everyday miracle instead, people walking in without a second glance, because they belonged there because everyone did. He left the auditorium to a soft tide of applause, not for a hero, but for a standard. Justice, he'd learned, isn't the gavel at the end. It's the thousands of small frictions removed so people can move through their lives without swallowing fear. And somewhere in a different lobby, a camera blinked red, then green, then steady recording. Not a takedown, but a normal day. The kind no one uploads because nothing went wrong. The kind that means everything went right.